On to the big breaking news we've been tracking here on headlines today. A Pakistan court just a short while ago granted bail to Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi. Remember, he is the operational commander of the Mumbai 26/11 attack. He's a top leader of the Lashkar-e-Taiba and currently serves as the supreme commander of operations in Kashmir and as a member of LET's General Council. He's also listed on the NIA's most wanted list.
उसका मास्टरमाइंड पाकिस्तान सभी कागजों में प्रमाणित है कि लखवी ने इस पूरे घटनाक्रम को अंजाम दिया था, जिसमें 200 लोग से अधिक लोग मारे गए थे। और उससे बड़ा हादसा भारत के इतिहास में, चाहे वो रेलवे स्टेशन पर हो, ताज होटल में हो, रॉय होटल में हो, और उसका दूसरा स्वरूप पेशावर में दिखा जब पाकिस्तान में इस प्रकार की घटना हुई, जहां एक तरफ पाकिस्तान ये दावा कर रहा है कि वो आतंकवाद से खुद लड़ना चाह रहा है, वहीं लखवी को एक पाकिस्तान के कोर्ट में उसे राहत दिया जाना, उसे मुक्त किया जाना, मैं समझता हूं कि ये दोहरी नीति पाकिस्तान का घातक है और पूरे दुनिया को इस बात को समझना होगा और पाकिस्तान को भी इस बात को समझना होगा।
सर, सिद्धू जी की गाड़ी पे ये एक स्टोरी है वैसे बोला।
We'll be getting in Gaurav Sawant on the phone line for more details, but it remains to be seen what were the facts that were placed before the court. Remember, the court has said that there was a lack
in the worst crime known in the subcontinent in decades, where we have had 166 people murdered in Mumbai, can be given bail, and that too after a ridiculously prolonged trial where for 6 years now he has simply not been brought to justice. Then honestly we have very little hope. We can have very little hope for the Pakistani judicial system. This is truly shocking.
Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi, remember, is a top leader of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. He serves as a supreme commander of terror operations in Kashmir. He's also a member of LET's General Council. He's been in jail for a while now, and from the details that are emerging from Pakistan at this point in time, we know that the court said that there simply was not enough evidence against Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi, because of which he has been granted bail today. A lot has been reported even about his stay in jail and about how he was able to continue his terror activities, direct terror activities from within the Adiala jail. From what we understand, his jail stay was not just comfortable, but he was able to actively direct terror activities into India. We also know about the charge sheet that has been filed against Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi. We know for a fact that it simply did not pertain to the facts relating to the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack case, and this despite the several dossiers that have been submitted by India to Pakistan. We have Gaurav Sawant joining us from our Delhi news pit for more on the story. Gaurav, taking it from the top, tell us what were the facts before the court today as it granted bail to Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi.
Look, Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi is the Chief Operations Officer of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. He's one of the co-founders along with Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi had masterminded the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks and directed those terror attacks as those terror attacks happened through the 3 days in Mumbai. There is direct evidence against him, not just in the form of Abu Jundal's statements, but there are also audio recordings, there are transcripts, a lot of other information that was collated not just by Indian intelligence agencies, but also agencies of the Western countries. Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi was arrested in December 2008. There was a raid that was carried out by the Pakistan security forces after an international hue and cry. In fact, Rehman Malik, Pakistan's interior minister at that point of time, had assured the court that they had evidence against not just Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi, but also the other 7 who were arrested in this case. Now, this was the Lashkar-e-Taiba core team that had carried out, that had directed this terror attack. But given the power this man enjoys with the ISI in Pakistan, he fathered a child while he was in Pakistan's Adiala jail. He directed other terror attacks while he was still in jail. And now, because the prosecution did not move against him, the court was left with no option but to grant him bail. This is classic Pakistan doublespeak. Under international pressure, they may arrest a terrorist, but then they mount a very weak case against him. The prosecution is unable to defend that case. In this particular case, judges have changed at least 5 times. Prosecution lawyers have changed several times. Prosecution lawyers don't show up. And that is why this trial hasn't proceeded in Pakistan. Aviral.
Gaurav, we understand that the bail that has been granted to Zaki-ur-Rehman Lakhvi today is a result of the investigations that were carried out by the Pakistan establishment before the Peshawar attack. Now, we all heard what the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had to say yesterday, saying that there really is no distinction between the good and the bad terrorists. Do you think that there could perhaps be a renewed attempt to nail Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi? Is that the sense that you would gather from what the Pakistan Prime Minister said yesterday after the Peshawar attack?
Well, that would be India's hope, that Pakistan targets India-centric terror, but that clearly is not happening despite Peshawar. Now, whenever you speak to anyone in Pakistan, they'll say that they are going after...
I'll have to ask you to hold your thought there. On the phone line with us is Mr. A.K. Dogar. He's Hafiz Saeed's lawyer. Mr. Dogar, thank you very much for speaking with Headlines today. Can you tell us why and how Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi has been granted bail today? What were the facts considered by the court today?
You see, somehow I'm in the Lahore High Court and this case was elsewhere. Neither I am a counsel for Lakhvi. Therefore, neither I know what and why it has been done, but if it has been done, it's a court order. An Indian court order I am bound to obey. Or if I am not, then go and appeal. Similarly here, you should respect the court orders, so do I. I do not know and I am nobody to comment
Mr. Dogar,
on that. Ji farmaiye.
Isn't the bigger issue, Mr. Dogar, the bigger issue is that the prosecution does not even fight these cases and the court then is left with no alternative but to grant bail, as in the case with your client, Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. And this is travesty of justice in Pakistan, sir.
You see, this you can say because you are sitting in a place which is outside our country. But if you were in my place, you will think that whatever the courts will not decide, that we are bound to obey. So whatever your court decides, you see, I tell you, I as a lawyer keep referring to many judgments of the Supreme Court of India. Even today I was in a case referring to, and I have nothing to say in a manner which is not legal and constitutional. You see, I was today referring to a judgment of Indian Supreme Court that once...
No, the bigger issue is it's the prosecution, sir. Mr. Dogar, you are a lawyer. You defend a terrorist like Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. Sir, the bigger issue is the prosecution does not even fight a case against Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. How will the court convict him?
How can I say that? Because I am a lawyer and I in fact am not concerned with that case. I am the lawyer of Hafiz Saeed in the Lahore High Court. I am not concerned in that case. That some other lawyers have been fighting that case. So please don't ask me about that.
Mr. Dogar, as a lawyer, as you know, there is a threat to lives of lawyers. Judges are scared to fight Hafiz Mohammed Saeed's case or Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi's case in Pakistan. Does this not show how weak the judiciary is becoming? Nobody is willing to fight the 2611 case or even hear it.
Well, sir, this is a system. This is a system in India, a system in Pakistan that we have got to go by what the judiciary says. We can't challenge the judiciary. If you challenge one court's order in the higher court's order, so those people who may be complainants in that case, they can go and file an appeal before Supreme Court in that case. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Well, that was A.K. Dogar, the lawyer for Hafiz Saeed. And Gaurav, that very pertinent point also being addressed by you, that the prosecution really is not able to fight the case properly because A, the investigations are not conducted, the charge sheet is simply a watered down version of what the actual facts of the case are, and C, there is of course the threat to the lives of lawyers and the judges who are hearing the cases.
You know, this has been a travesty of justice in Pakistan right from 2611 onwards. Under international pressure, In December, the Pakistan army and the police, they carried out a series of raids because the world was looking, and evidence was mounted not just by India but intelligence agencies of several countries which pinpointed Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, which pinpointed Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi and the other 6 terrorists as masterminding this operation and directing this operation. Abu Jundal was arrested and he was extradited to India. A lot of evidence came there. There was electronic intelligence, there was money transfer. So this was one case where there was international investigation done that Yamaha motor, the motorboat that these terrorists took, Japan had sold that machine to Pakistan. It was traced to a shop in Pakistan. All of that, there was a cast iron case. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, even their diplomats call all this evidence as literature, and they did not proceed on this evidence. The Pakistani state was meant to build on the evidence provided by India and then proceed against these terrorists. The Pakistani state did not do that, and over the years, since a prosecution was unable to build up a case, today the High Court in Lahore was compelled to grant bail to a terrorist like Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi.
Gaurav, we were also talking about the political intent. Do you see there being some sort of a change post the Peshawar school attack?
If there is a change of heart post the Peshawar attack, then it needs to be seen on ground. And sadly, hours after the Peshawar school attack, you had an international terrorist, and this is an international terrorist who's been banned by the United Nations, who's on the US watch list. Hafiz Mohammed Saeed was spewing venom against India. He's not the only one. The very next day, Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi gets bail. So where is intent? Pakistan has never proceeded against terrorists who harm India's interests. And when you put that question, whether to the strategic community in Pakistan or to the political leaders in Pakistan, they say that if we target terrorists in Waziristan and terrorists who are hostile to India in Punjab, Pakistan will break. So they say, let us focus on Waziristan, and you will have to suffer in the Pak-centric, the India-centric terrorists in Pakistan's Punjab and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Aviral.
Apart from the words of solidarity that Prime Minister Modi expressed to Nawaz Sharif day before yesterday, Gaurav, there has been a freeze in relations between India and Pakistan. Do you think that India should really take matters into its own hands now and exert a renewed sense of pressure, especially considering this is the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack, a top commander who we are talking about who is now going to walk out of jail?
Well, for India, it's of utmost importance to strengthen its internal security grid. There is always clear and present danger from Pakistani terrorists, renewed after what Hafiz Mohammed Saeed said just yesterday. Not just Delhi, but several vital assets and vital points are on a state of high alert at this point of time. This will continue till the time that US President Barack Obama comes to India, because that's the time that these Pakistani terrorists will try and mount a major terror attack. That is what intelligence agencies have been warning.
Right.
But as far as India is concerned, India will have to strengthen its internal security grid. I don't think India can expect any cooperation from Pakistan, which didn't even come post 26/11.
And that becomes even more pertinent considering that we have the American president landing in New Delhi for the Republic Day celebrations.
Oh, absolutely. This would be a time that terrorists in Pakistan will try and target India. They will try and look for a soft target. Look, in Peshawar, terrorists targeted children of Pakistan army officers who were fighting, officers and jawans who were fighting in the Waziristan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area. We have, insurgencies and counter-terrorism operations that are going on in India, and a similar attack, intelligence agencies warn, could be mounted even in India, and that is why the internal security grid needs to be strengthened.
There's been a lot of talk on the Indian side, Gaurav, of a deliberate systemic failure in nailing Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi and his involvement in the Mumbai terror attacks. Now you have a top government minister, Venkaiah Naidu, telling Pakistan that you hand over Hafiz Saeed if you are in fact serious about fighting terror. Keeping a statement like that in mind, apart from the rhetoric, talking about what India can really do as far as action is concerned, what would you say that how India can really take this matter forward?
Look, as far as India is concerned, Venkaiah Naidu, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, said that Dawood Ibrahim and Hafiz Mohammed Saeed need to be handed over to India. CPI's Atul Anjan also said exactly the same thing, that if Pakistan is serious about cracking down on terror, let's listen. Okay, I'm also getting in Ujjwal Nikam. Sir, you prosecuted Ajmal Amir Kasab. You tracked this case very carefully. What do you make? Did India have solid evidence against Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi, sir?
Let me tell you, there was a strong evidence against Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi.
because Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi is being tried since 2008 in Pakistan. And if at all, if assuming that there was no evidence, then why he was not released on the bail earlier?
Yes.
Because they had discharged Hafiz Saeed. So Pakistan court could have discharged, could have released him on the bail earlier, but the very fact that he was detained for about more than the 5 to 6 years, it means that there was sufficient evidence. Besides that, when myself and some of the 3 Indian senior officials of the government of India had visited Islamabad last year,
Yes.
that time we pointed out the various evidence and what we have collected after the execution of Qassam.
Yes.
But it appears that the Pakistani prosecuting agency did not present the evidence in a proper manner, and that is the reason that Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi has been released on the bail. Now, what I expect from the Pakistan prosecuting agency, that they should immediately make appeal to the High Court for cancellation of bail. Not only that, if they would like to seriously fight against the terrorists, what Mr. Prime Minister of Pakistan has said, then they should hold the hearing of this 26 November case on day-to-day basis. Special court should have been constituted. In fact, myself and the other, we have the government delegation have suggested to the Pakistani authorities, but it appears they did not act upon it. This is a very serious thing. And since after the incident of the Peshawar, if Pakistan really wants to fight against the terrorists, they should take immediate steps in nabbing all the terrorists, including the terrorists of India also.
Sir, for the benefit of our viewers, and since you know this case like the back of your hand, you successfully prosecuted Ajmal Amir Kasab and he was ultimately hanged. What is the solid evidence against Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi, Mr. Ujjwal Nikam?
Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi, there was the confession of Kasab, but of course that would not have been useful. But the other evidence, that the telephone talk and the call details, intercepted conversation, he had visited the place, Pakistani prosecuting agency had also collected. Only drawback was with the Pakistani prosecuting agency that they did not charge Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi under section 120B, that is a criminal conspiracy. And that mistake we have pointed out to the Pakistan prosecuting agency. And my counterpart of the Pakistan had agreed to rectify the mistake, but in fact they did not do it. And I don't know why they had not done it.
That is a very pertinent point you are making, Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, that Pakistan state deliberately filed a weak case against Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi and did not charge him under section 120B criminal conspiracy. Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, what can Pakistan do now to make amends? Can this be done, or will Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi come out on bail now?
Now, immediately Pakistan authorities should approach to the High Court today at once, and they should get the stay first of all for cancellation of the bail. Otherwise, if he will be released on the bail, then that will take a long time. We don't know. Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi is a very hardcore terrorist. He would do some other operations also. So why the Pakistan prosecuting agency are waiting, and why they are wasting their time in giving interviews? They should immediately approach to the High Court. We have the approach, we have done CB in certain cases also. So they should not waste the time, they should immediately go to the High Court. Even the one-line word of the Attorney General of the Pakistan is sufficient to state the order. And that can be stayed.
That's a very important point you're making. And Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, if Pakistan does that, its intent will become clear. Should Pakistan not do that, it will also be very clear that Pakistan is not interested in fighting India-centric terror, sir.
The Pakistan, I know, I'm conscious of the fact that really Pakistan is also suffering from the problem of the terrorism. But why the Pakistan is making discrimination between the terrorists who fight, you make the terror attack in India and the terror attack in their soil? The terrorists have no caste, race, religion, they should not forget. See, therefore, Taliban is being promoted by them, and now they are attacking themselves.
Absolutely. Ujjwal Nikam, for the moment, many thanks for joining me here on Headlines today. Aviral Ujjwal Nikam, the senior public prosecutor in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, makes a very pertinent point. The point he's making is prosecution agencies in Pakistan deliberately filed a weak case against Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi. They did not process this case properly, and because of that, today the court was compelled to grant him bail. The prosecution at this stage should immediately move for cancellation of bail in a superior court, and that is where Pakistan's intent will become clear.
In a sense, Gaurav, is a big test for the Pakistani establishment as well. We heard what Ujjwal Nikam said, that they should move immediately before he actually comes out of jail.
And you know, the bigger travesty of justice here is 6 years after the worst terror attack in India, we are still talking about keeping Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi in jail as an under trial. In any civilized country, this man would have been convicted by now, given the amount of evidence that is there against him, collected not just by India, but as Ujjwal Nikam was rightly telling us, evidence that was collected by Pakistani agencies. He should have been convicted and he should have been, proceeded against. In India, we've already hanged Ajmal Amir Kasab. The government has already hanged Ajmal Amir Kasab for the terror attack, and the trial is dragging in Pakistan. And we are just desperately trying to keep him in jail at this stage. That shows Pakistan's intent in tackling terror.
We also have on the phone line Gaurav Eknath Omble. He's the brother of Tukaram Omble. He's a 2611 Braveheart. Eknath ji, आपने ये खबर सुनी है कि Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi बहुत जल्द अब जेल से बेल सिक्योर कर निकलने वाले हैं?
हेलो
एकनाथ ओमले जी, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी
क्या आपने ये खबर सुनी है कि ज़की-उर-रहमान लखवी बहुत ही जल्द जेल से बाहर निकलने वाले हैं?
जी, अभी खबर सुनी हमने, और बड़ी आश्चर्यजनक डिसीजन है किसान कोर्ट का। एक्चुअली कल ही जो पेशावर में जो अटैक हो गया, छोटे छोटे बच्चे, अब ये बात सुन के ऑल इंडियंस जो मतलब पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ बहुत बड़ा क्रोध होने के बावजूद इंडियंस लोगों के आंख में आंसू आ गए। और पाकिस्तान की कोर्ट ने ऐसा जो डिसीजन लिया है वो बहुत ही आश्चर्यजनक है, खेदजनक है। सबसे बड़ी बात, एक जो केस चल रही थी वो एक्चुअली इंडिया में, अपने हिंदुस्तान में चलनी चाहिए थी, तो ही उसके ऊपर बहुत मतलब अच्छा निर्णय आ सकता था, अच्छा डिसीजन आ सकता था। तो बड़ी खेदजनक और आश्चर्यजनक डिसीजन है कि कल इतना बड़ा अटैक होने के बावजूद ऐसा डिसीजन नहीं लेना चाहिए था।
ने प्राणों का सर्वोच्च बलिदान दिया, उन्होंने अजमल आमिर कसाब को जिंदा पकड़ा। ऐसी परिस्थिति में जब आप सुनते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में जिस आदमी ने कसाब को भेजा था उसे 6 साल बाद बेल मिल गई, तो आपके मन पर क्या बीतती है?
हेलो
जी,
देखिए, बिल्कुल अभी भी लगभग 6 साल होने के बावजूद भी 26/11 के हमले में जो भी हमारे जवान शहीद हो गए, उसमें मेरे भाई भी शहीद हो गए, तो आज भी उनके जो परिवार है वो ठीक तरह से अपने को संभाल नहीं पा रहे हैं। अभी भी उनके जख्म मतलब अभी भी पूरी तरह से भरे नहीं है। और इस हालत में ऐसा जो निर्णय लिया है, और पाकिस्तान से ज्यादा अपेक्षा भी नहीं कर सकते थे एक्चुअली पाकिस्तान के ओर से ऐसा ही डिसीजन मतलब आना लगभग ये था कि पाकिस्तान पहले ही, मतलब मैं इस बारे में बहुत बार आपके मीडिया के सामने आपको ये बात बोल चुका था मैं कि जो केस है बिल्कुल अपने हिंदुस्तान में, भारत में चलना चाहिए था, तो एक ठीक तरह से डिसीजन उसका सामने आता था मैम
जी।
Right, Eknath Omble ji, thank you very much. Headlines today से बात करने के लिए this evening. This is the big story coming in from Pakistan. Zakir-ur-Rehman Lakhvi is going to walk out of the Rawalpindi jail after nearly 5 years. The pertinent point being raised by the 2611 prosecutor here in India, Ujjwal Nikam, being why was he not released on bail earlier? He was detained for more than 5 years. It means that there is solid evidence against him that simply is not being presented in the right manner before the Pakistan courts, and that the Pakistan establishment can still act against him by challenging that bail in a higher court. Will the Pakistan government allow that to happen? Remains to be seen. We also had Gaurav Sawant giving us perspective on just how massive a travesty of justice this is. Time for us to take